Welcome to Worship on the Web this morning. It is good to have you with us. Today our theme is all about exploring what is in a name. I hope you take this time to reflect with God and get something from it which you can take away into the rest of your week. May you be blessed by today's worship and all the contributors from across our British province.
Hello, my name is Sister Lolwood and I'm a member of Fairfield Congregation. I'm also on PYCC and I live in a beautiful place called Lancaster. However, today I am here to invite you to join me in playing a game called Spot the Difference. Some of you will have played this before. So on the next slide, see what differences you can see between the first and second picture. I hope you got the differences, but just in case you didn't, here were the intentional differences. So that Teddy and Kermit have switched seats. Kermit has also lost his keys. The book from below the penguin has disappeared. And one prayer egg has gone. The cross has moved from the Ted to the penguin. And sadly, Shaun the sheep no longer has a scarf to wear. But why are we playing this game? Well, it is linked to today's Bible passage. In the passage today, Jesus is asking his disciples who people say the Son of Man is. So Jesus is asking them, how are people saying the Son of Man will be different to anybody else? Here are some of the answers the disciples give. That some say John the Baptist, others Elijah. Some say he's going to be one of the prophets. Jesus asks his friends, the disciples, but who do you say that I am? And they answer, the Messiah. Now we can never know why Jesus asks his friends, the disciples, who do you say that I am? But perhaps he wanted to see how well they knew him. Perhaps Jesus wanted to see if they recognized him as special. And what name would they call him? Names are important. Jesus gave new names to people as part of his ministry. Names can tell us about a person's character, their parents' hopes for them, and who they are linked to in the world, so who their family is. At summer camp this year, we thought about our names in a lot of detail, as we realised that names are linked with our identity. I'm going to invite you to think about some questions. Now you may need to go away and research these questions, but that's okay. Who named you? Who named you? What does your name mean? What does your name mean? Do you like your name? Do you like your name? So spend some time thinking about these questions throughout the rest of the day.
The reading is from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, verses 13 to 20. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he sternly ordered the disciples not to tell anyone he was the Messiah.
I wonder why you think that the Son of Man asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" Names are important. I wonder if you recognise any of these names.
Bradford City,
Ulster Rugby,
Derby County,
We love the Belfast Giants! Let's go Giants!
Go Sheffield Steelers!
Do any of these names create emotion in you? Maybe you've got a passionate and positive response. Maybe these names rile you up a little bit. Perhaps you're wondering who these names are. Well, we've a mixture of sporting teams represented here. These are some of people's favourites across the British province. I wonder, do you have a sports team that is your favourite? Living in Chelsea, you become very aware of how important Chelsea Football Club is to some people. How that name, depending on how well they've played, can be a point of pride or a point of frustration or a point of sadness. I love that I'm always updated by passionate Chelsea supporters at Fetter Lane on how they've got on the previous night. I love that a name can mean so much to so many people. Another name which is evocative is the Messiah. When Simon Peter offers this as the answer to Jesus' question, "Who do you say I am?" it isn't a neutral response. The Messiah in Jewish religion and practice was a long-awaited figure. It means anointed one, and there was an understanding from the Jewish scriptures that this figure would be a political leader, a fair judge, and a bringer of peace. This name meant a lot to a lot of different people at the time when Simon Peter said it. I wonder, how would you have felt if you'd been there and you'd witnessed Simon Peter saying Jesus was the Messiah? I wonder what hopes Simon Peter had of Jesus, and were they fulfilled? I wonder how God has revealed to you an understanding of the Messiah. Owning Jesus as being the embodiment of the Messiah is still evocative. It has a meaning for those of us who believe it, even today. When we name Jesus as our Messiah, we acknowledge several things about ourselves, which may include our need for help, our hope in others, our belief that God cares for us. We may also believe we now have an understanding of how the Messiah brought about peace, political leadership, and fair judgment. We can see that we get this from our Bible stories of how Jesus interacted and treated people, how he talked to them, how he named them or renamed them, how he challenged them, how he cared for them. In our Bibles, we see Jesus spend time with children, adults, rich people, poor people, those who were Jews and those who weren't, those who had sinned and knew that they had, and those who had sinned and didn't realise it. In all these things, I think that we can see Jesus' response is personal. It shows care. It speaks truth to people. If these are all the things we see the Messiah do, what are we, as followers of the Messiah, asked to do, in your opinion? Names are used to differentiate between people or objects. If you've ever met someone with the same name, there tends to be an instant connection on some level. It's a "that's my name" moment. I bet your name has meaning. Even if it isn't the set meaning that you can read about on the internet or in books, it may have meaning created by others. If you were to ask your friends or people that knew you what your name meant, people would respond with an answer. And their responses are probably attached to how you've interacted with them, how you've dealt with them, what you've done, what you've said, and who you are creates meaning to your name. So this week, I encourage you to think about how you are acting and interacting with people. Is it in a way that would make you feel happy to have those actions associated with your name? Would the Messiah recognise it as the way of a follower of God? I want you to think about what other things might you be able to do which should perhaps more befit a Messiah-inspired life. And so we finish today's worship together by saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.